If your ancestry isn't exclusively African, then up to 2% of your DNA comes from an entirely different species. Yes, those ancient relatives once thought to be brutish cave dwellers actually live on inside you. For decades, the Neanderthals were misunderstood, portrayed as primitive, clumsy, and inferior to Homo sapiens. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Today, we know they made tools, built shelters, cared for the sick, and may have even created art. Modern science has shattered the myth that Neanderthals were unintelligent brutes. Hi, it's me, and this is my channel. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of the Neanderthals, those close relatives of ours who lived in Europe and parts of Asia until around 40,000 years ago. Recent discoveries and studies have painted a much more nuanced and surprisingly human picture of the Neanderthals. We will explore how they were likely more like us than we previously imagined, and how their legacy lives on in our genes and possibly even in our behaviors. So, let's get started. What do you think when you hear the word Neanderthal? Perhaps you picture a dim-witted, brutish creature, more beast than man, lurking in the shadows of the Ice Age. But this common image of Neanderthals as less than human is a misleading stereotype, perpetuated by pop culture and outdated scientific theories. Thankfully, modern science is changing all that. In 2010, a team led by Svante Pääbo, a geneticist at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig, Germany, successfully sequenced the first Neanderthal genome by extracting DNA from 3 bone fragments found in the Vindiga cave in Croatia. Their findings, published in the journal Science, shook the scientific community to its core. The study revealed that Neanderthals interbred with Homo sapiens, our species, before they went extinct about 40,000 years ago. In fact, most people of non-African descent today carry between 1 and 4% of their DNA from these ancient relatives. This discovery fundamentally changed the way we view human evolution, demonstrating that our story is far more intertwined with that of the Neanderthals than we ever imagined. But why does it matter that we share DNA with Neanderthals? Why is it important to understand the nuances of human evolution? As it turns out, there are several compelling reasons. Firstly, understanding our genetic heritage can help us trace the origins of various traits and characteristics, including our susceptibility to certain diseases. By studying the Neanderthal genome, scientists have identified genes linked to things like our immune system, skin and hair pigmentation, and even our response to sunlight. These insights not only deepen our understanding of human biology, but also shed light on the adaptability and resilience of our species throughout history. Secondly, exploring our ancestral past allows us to appreciate the rich tapestry of human history. It reveals a world where different hominin species coexisted, interacted, and sometimes interbred, challenging the traditional narrative of linear progress. Instead, it paints a picture of a complex web of relationships and influences that shaped the course of human evolution. Lastly, embracing the complexity of our evolutionary story encourages us to confront our own biases and prejudices. By recognizing the shared humanity among different groups of people, including those we might consider genetically or culturally distant, we can foster empathy, understanding, and respect. It challenges us to move beyond simplistic categorizations and embrace the richness and diversity of human existence. The Neanderthals were incredibly adaptable creatures, well-suited for the harsh conditions of Ice Age Europe and parts of Asia. They thrived for hundreds of thousands of years, longer than any other known human relative, and they managed to spread across vast distances, from the Iberian Peninsula to Siberia. Now here, as a surprising fact, some scientists believe that Neanderthals were more widespread than modern humans during the last Ice Age. Homo sapiens may have been outnumbered by their Neanderthal cousins at one point in history. This was not because Neanderthals were superior in numbers, but due to the fact that Homo sapiens originated in Africa, and it took them some time to migrate into Europe and Asia. Now let's talk about Neanderthal society. Forget the image of these ancient relatives as loners or small clan-based societies. Evidence suggests that Neanderthals lived in complex social groups with intricate social structures. In fact, recent studies indicate that Neanderthal societies were highly egalitarian, with no significant differences in lifestyle or resource access between males and females. Archaeological findings such as animal bones with butchering marks and traces of cooked meat at Neanderthal settlements point towards a cooperative and communal lifestyle. Hunting large animals would have required teamwork, and evidence suggests that Neanderthals shared food and cared for their sick and injured. They even practiced a form of cannibalism, but not in the way you might think. Analysis of cut marks on bones suggests that they consumed the brains of their dead, likely in a ritualistic or ceremonial context. This practice, while seemingly gruesome, reflects a deep connection to their cultural and possibly spiritual beliefs. Language is a defining aspect of human cognition, yet its origins and early evolution remain shrouded in mystery. While the exact timeline and development of language is still debated, evidence suggests that Neanderthals did possess a sophisticated communication system. This is based on several factors, including the size and structure of their brain, particularly the region associated with language processing, and the development of symbolic thought as evidenced by their art and possibly musical instruments. Neanderthal brains were actually larger than those of modern humans. Although it's important to note that brain size doesn't always correlate with intelligence, but what's truly remarkable is that their speech-related brain regions were comparable to those of modern humans, suggesting a capacity for complex communication. Speaking of culture, the Neanderthals were surprisingly artistic. Recent discoveries have revealed intricate cave paintings, Venus figurines, and personal ornaments crafted from bone, stone, and precious materials like amber. These artifacts demonstrate a level of aesthetic expression and symbolic thought previously thought to be unique to Homo sapiens. One of the most intriguing aspects of Neanderthal culture is the potential for music and rhythm. Some researchers believe that rhythmic activities like dancing played a significant role in Neanderthal social life. This idea is supported by the presence of perforated ear bones and flutes made from animal bones. While the interpretation of these objects remains a subject of debate, they offer a glimpse into the possibility that Neanderthals appreciated the beauty and complexity of music, just as humans do today. Even their burial practices reveal a deep sense of ritual and respect for the dead. Neanderthals were known to bury their dead, sometimes with grave goods, indicating a belief in an afterlife or a desire to honor their departed loved ones. These practices were not only sophisticated, but also strikingly similar to those observed in some modern human cultures. So you see, the Neanderthals were far from the uncultured brutes often depicted in popular culture. They had their own unique ways of expressing themselves, connecting with others, and coping with death, all of which contribute to our broader understanding of human culture and history. And speaking of death, the extinction of the Neanderthals is a topic that has sparked intense curiosity and debate among scientists and the general public alike. What led to their demise around 40,000 years ago? Well, it's not as simple as you might think. Once thought to be a direct result of competition with modern humans, recent studies suggest a more complex interplay of factors. One prevailing theory is that climate change played a significant role in the Neanderthals' extinction. As the climate shifted, the availability of resources may have dwindled, making survival increasingly challenging. Another compelling hypothesis proposes that interbreeding between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens may have contributed to their genetic assimilation. This suggests that rather than a dramatic extinction event, the Neanderthals gradually faded away into the gene pool of modern humans. However, it's essential to acknowledge that the exact cause of their extinction remains uncertain, and many scientists believe it was likely a combination of environmental pressures, genetic factors, and possibly interactions with Homo sapiens. Nevertheless, the disappearance of the Neanderthals serves as a reminder of the fragility of life and the complex forces that shape the course of evolution. It also highlights the need for continued research and open-mindedness when exploring our shared human past. So there you have it. The Neanderthals, once considered a primitive offshoot of human evolution, are now revealed to be sophisticated, adaptable, and deeply connected to our own species. They were creators, thinkers, artists, and survivors. Their legacy lives on in our genes and possibly in our behaviors. The story of the Neanderthals is a testament to the complexity and wonder of human evolution. It challenges us to look beyond outdated stereotypes and embrace the richness and diversity of our ancestral past. As we continue to unearth new discoveries and knowledge, we must remain open-minded and respectful towards our ancient relatives. Let's ensure that the story of the Neanderthals is one of remembrance, understanding, and celebration. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and leave a comment with your thoughts or any questions you might have. We love hearing from you. Also, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on our latest explorations into the fascinating world of history. Until next time, keep asking questions and never stop exploring.